So in previous video, I told you about what is the most important habit for you to adapt when it comes to building lasting habits. However, it is not enough to just fill in the habits you want to get done or create a document where you will track them. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to you actually taking action towards doing those habits. And there's one mindset shift that made really big difference in me actually starting to act on my habits. And before I had this mindset shift, the way I would do my habits is that I would start them and I would set out like many big habits, and by the end of the week I would just quit on them. I might track them for like a week, maybe several weeks at max, but not longer than that. And I would end up quitting and I would get frustrated of like why I can't stick with them, why I can't finish the habits, why I keep quitting. I would try out different habits to get in a place that I wanted to be, but I would always struggle with actually sticking with them. And there were like several mistakes that I made as well along the way. One of them was that at first I didn't really schedule time for these habits. So I would want to get so many things done, but I didn't really have physically time to get them done. So that was one thing, that was one mistake at the very beginning, that I didn't really have set aside time to actually do those habits. So when you don't have time, you will just end up doing something else that might feel more like urgent in that moment. So that was one mistake that I made. So another mistake that I made was when I would set out my habits, I'm not sure I even had the intention to do them. I think I wanted to feel good about starting something, but I don't think I was really in a place where I had this intention to go all the way with them, because I had never actually experienced me going all the way. So in my head, it wasn't even possible. So when I would set out those habits, I would do them um, for the sake of doing it, but I didn't really have intention of finishing it, or at least I wasn't aware of it at the time that I didn't have it. But then I had a conversation with a friend where um, he asked me one question, which was, do you even intend to go all the way, or to finish what you started, or to do those habits until you actually achieve what you want? And I was thinking about it, and I realized that I focus on starting, but I don't focus as much on the fact that I have to go all the way, that I am not going to quit. The mindset that I had was that I would do the habits only if I felt like doing them. So they were still optional for me. But then when I had this shift, it wasn't really optional to do them or not based on how I feel. I had to find time to get them done. They had to be done. There was no option not to do them. I just had to find a way. Many times you want to see results for us to keep going, but at the beginning you will see no results, or even the better you get, the smaller will be difference from the level where you are to the level where you want to get. So focusing only on seeing that progress, that could even sabotage your progress, because then you stop focusing on the process and you focus on the result, or whether you are getting better. And the progression is not just going straight line. There are like ups and downs, but the main thing is that you stay consistent, and that's how you actually get to that end result. So that was when I started to shift towards focusing more on finishing my habits, and it wasn't optional. So I had several times where I would be up until late just to finish my habits. And I started to even like play a game where each day I wanted to beat my previous day. Or let's say each month, I would calculate how many habits I finished percentage wise that month. And then each month I would want to beat my previous month. So that way I created like a game in my head where I wasn't focusing as much on, I didn't even have time to think about whether I have been progressing or not, because I was focusing so much on actually finishing the habits and getting better day by day, that I didn't even think about the result. And that was really helpful, because then I stopped thinking about um, how far from the goal I am, or maybe starting to beat myself up for this progress or how slow it is. So now, like with starting to track my habits, which was the first point, and now focusing on the fact that they are not optional and they I have to get them done. Those two things have helped me to be like really consistent and not to quit on my habits. Because well, it's not really an option to quit. I have to find a way to get them done. I remember even how I even became maybe even like obsessed with my habits, but not in a bad way. I really enjoyed doing them, and I even would catch myself several times feeling really happy about where I am, or just feeling that feeling of you are taking action towards getting yourself in a better place. So I would sometimes sit at my table and be like, wow, I feel happy. And I was like, I don't know where this is coming from, but I felt really happy. And the moment I would stop habits and I would kill that momentum, that's when I would start to feel not as happy. I would feel bad. I would feel like something is missing. I wouldn't feel that excitement that I had when I was on my habits and I was every day being really productive, really on point, really positive, which that positive was really the side effect because when you're being productive and you're getting things done and you're moving ahead, you just naturally start to feel good about yourself. If you want to work towards building habits, I wouldn't focus on putting as many habits as you can to get them done. I would focus on if you write any habit down that you want to get done, write it down only if you actually have intention to go all the way and actually do it. If you want to write down that you will go to gym every day, but you just write it down to feel good about yourself, don't do it because then when you will be tracking your habits and you will not be going to gym at all, you will start to feel bad about yourself and you will start to beat yourself up for not going to the gym. So if you don't have intentions to go to gym every day, just don't write it down as a habit. So like any habit, when you write it down, um, write down only habits that you actually are going to do because otherwise you will start to feel bad about not doing the habits that you have written down all the list and you just create the list of things that you haven't done. So so rather than have the list of things that you haven't done, create a list of habits that you actually are going to do, that you actually physically have time to get done or have found time to get them done and do those habits. Because then what you are actually doing, you are building a habit, you're building those habits and you are um, building all the proof of you being a better person. If you want to become a healthier person, you doing all your health related habits is going to give you a feedback that, oh, I'm a healthy person. But if you set out intention to be healthy and you write down habits that you have no intention to do, then you will just feed yourself even more feedback that you are not a healthy person. So focus more on habits that you actually are going to do. And any habit that you write down, it's non-negotiable. It has to get done. For you to be able to get in that mindset, you have to learn to let go of the expectation of getting results or focusing too much on the result because then what you end up doing is that you focus more on like whether you have achieved the result or not instead of actually focusing on doing the best you can today, which is what habits were for me and probably still are because habits and tracking my habits has been a good reminder for myself to give the best I can today and focus only on today because tomorrow I can't fill today's habits. So, and if I don't fill my habits within a week, I will not be able to get them all done next week because the only day that I can fill my habits is today, not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. I can't do my habits today for tomorrow. No, like that's a different day. You have only this day. You have only this time, and you have to finish your habits within this timeline that you have. Then next day you start again. So that has been really helpful for me to be more present as well and not to overthink as much, because then once I'm focused on my habits, I don't really think too much, or I don't really focus on where um, maybe whether I am where I want to be, because now I'm focusing on taking the necessary actions I need to take today to actually get to where I want to get. So that has been really helpful not to overthink as well and be more present, which is really important if you want to get ahead. So this is the mindset shift that has been really helpful for me, and I have been I have been learning about self-development and especially like productivity, self-discipline, and I've been trying a lot of things on myself. And I have been working towards getting myself in a place where I can do my habits consistently on not like for a week, but like for months at a time, and keep building them up to where I can do more and more habits. And I have been trying many different habits that I would try out and see whether that works for me, what is better for me, what is not as good for me. And this mindset shift has been one of the main reasons why I actually started to get results, to actually stay consistent, to actually be productive. And for me, it has been really helpful for me. And that's why I wanted to share it with you, because if I didn't shift that mindset to where the habit that I write down, it has to get done, it's not optional, I wouldn't actually stay consistent with my habits. Because then if I don't feel like doing them, well, I don't do them. Easy. um, so like that has been really helpful for me to actually stay consistent. And I hope this helps and you can take this and apply it to your own life and start working towards building consistent habits, because then when you have your habits that are consistent, what you do is that you actually start to create new identity, and you start to give yourself more reasons to actually adapt this new identity, um, whichever you want to be, because whatever we do, that is who we are. If you are sitting home in your pajamas and you eat chips all day, well, then you identify somebody who's not healthy. But if you go for a run every day, if you eat healthy, if you cook for yourself, and if you drink a lot of water, so those are the reasons for you to identify yourself as a healthy person. So that's why it's important for you to work towards building those habits and changing what you do, because then as a result you change who you are. And once you are a different person, you will have a different life. So keep this in mind and go sit down, create your habits, and start working on them, because nobody's going to do the work for you. So that's the video for today. Thank you for watching, and hopefully you found it helpful. If you did, please leave a like, comment below with all the questions that you have, and share it with anybody who could benefit from it.